How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me today. So the dust has settled over the Derby match yesterday, and Celtic are still 9 points clear of the top of the table. A lot of negativity around the performance yesterday, and I've been rewatching the game. I've been looking at some of the key events, and I don't think it was actually as negative as potentially it was in the first watch. In this video, I'm going to be looking at some of the goals in the game and what went wrong, the sequencing of events that led to Rangers getting the first goal and them getting the penalty for the second goal as well. Cards on the table. I'm not a football coach. I don't have any coaching background, but I think I understand the game enough to break down these goals and the sequences and events that led to them. So I'm going to kick in with the Juranovic mistake that led to a house of cards of mistakes that led to Ryan Kent's first goal. Okay, so as you can see from my shiny tactical board here, this is the setup that was happening when Ryan Kent scored the equalising goal for Rangers around the 46th minute mark. So the play actually starts off here at left back. They give the ball into Alan McGregor in goals, and this is what kicks off the sequence of events. So as you can see, Celtic's line looks like this. So you have Starfelt here, you've got Cameron Carter-Vickers here, and you've got Alistair Johnson here. This is Ryan Kent, and this is Alfredo Morelos, and this is Fashion Sakala. This is Juranovic. This is his starting position. He's far too far forward. He's in the midfield. And even though Alan McGregor has the ball, the only reasoning I can think of that he would be this far away from his back line like this is that he thought that McGregor was going to go short here and that he was going to push up. Maeda was going to start pressing and Juranovic would have to get up onto Tavernier for the press. That's the excuse that I'm giving him. That's the out I'm giving him. That's the only reason I can see why he would be this far up this early in the play when all of the rest of his defensive line are here. So what happens? Al McGregor does not go short. Al McGregor spots Fashion Sakala free. He gives the ball up to Fashion Sakala, takes it down well. Juranovic at this point realizes his mistake, tries to get to him, but Sakala's too strong, so he can't get the right side of him. What happens now is that Fat Boy Morelos, as Greg Taylor named him, that's not me calling him that name, he makes actually a very good run down this channel. This drags Carl Starfelt back onto him. It drags Cameron Carter-Vickers into the middle. Fashion Sakala is making his run. So Cameron Carter-Vickers is here. Juranovic is still chasing him. Meanwhile, Kent is making a run. Alistair Johnson pulls on him well. He's still on him. But what happens is Morelos makes a run here, which means Starfelt has to follow, which means Cameron Carter-Vickers is caught in a difficult position. So does he stay with Sakala or does he try to get over to Kent? Sakala passes the ball to Kent, which drags Celtic's line back once more. He's in the box at this point. Sorry, these things are a little bit small. So normally what would happen in this situation if Alfredo Morelos hadn't pulled Carl Starfelt over this far would be that Cameron Carter-Vickers would come over here, Starfelt will be over here, and we'd have an overload. Cal McGregor does get back as well. But what actually happens is Starfelt is over here, which means Cameron Carter-Vickers' starting position to get over, he's too far over to the left-hand side because he has to watch Sakala, and he also Starfelt is over here in the left back position, And once Ryan Kent gets onto the ball, he turns in on his right foot. Carter-Vickers tries to get over, but he can't get over on time. Normally, Cameron Carter-Vickers would be here. He would be doubling up, tripling up with Cal McGregor on Ryan Kent, making sure he can't cut in on his right foot inside the box to get the shot away. But he can't get over on time, and Ryan Kent puts the ball into the back of the net. So what actually happens, and I'll show you this now with the screenshots, is number one, this is Juranovic's starting position. So this is where he starts off. Too far up, nobody else on line with him, as you can see. Nobody across this line. That's number one. Number two, this is when the ball comes into action. So as you can see, this is Morelos here. This is Ryan Kent. Two players doubling up on him. Sakala gets on the ball. Juranovic wrong side of him. Number 3, this is Morelos' run. As you can see, Cara Starfelt follows him. Sakala is running in. Cameron Carter-Vickers is here. Johnston is here. Too big of a gap in between them. And then number 4, as you can see, this is Cameron Carter-Vickers. This is how far he gets over. He can't get over far enough. He would normally be somewhere around here blocking off this shot. He can't get over in time. And Ryan Kent does finish well to put Rangers 1-1. So that was the sequencing of events that led to Rangers getting their first goal and taking control of the derby match yesterday in the early stages of the second half. Okay, so this is the setup for the second goal, the penalty that leads to Travernier's goal that puts Rangers ahead. You can ignore this half of the pitch, it's irrelevant for this stage of the play. Fashion Sakala has the ball here. This is Kilman, and this is Alfredo Morelos. Juranovic is here. He's in position this time. Starfelt's quite close to Juranovic during the course of this play. Maybe he was overcompensating for the last time. Cal McGregor is here, making sure that Kilman can't make a late run into the box. And then throughout the period of this play, which is quite jarring to see, it doesn't really have any impact on what happens. But Cameron Carter-Vickers is about 5 yards behind the defensive line covering Alfredo Morelos. Now, that normally would be if it's, you know, a very quick player that you might be a little bit afraid of getting him behind the defensive line and not be able to catch him. I don't think that Morelos is that type of player, so it was a bit jarring. It doesn't impact the play, but it was weird that Cameron Carter-Vickers was so far behind the defensive play and Cal McGregor was actually filling in at the centre of defence. Now, that could be a game plan that Celtic have in place for this. I'm not sure, but this is just the way that the game played out. So what essentially happens is Sakala, full of confidence now, burned Juranovic before, is just going at Juranovic. He's backing off. Fashion Sakala gets to about here. Juranovic then decides to engage with him, gets caught flat-footed. Sakala burns him, goes around him. That's where Starfelt comes into play. Everyone gets back. Loads of time actually passes before he gets the ball into the box. Carter-Vickers is back here on Alfredo Morelos. Kilman is here. And as you can see, Celtic have more players than Rangers in the box. They have considerably more players than Rangers. Travenier is arriving late. He doesn't come into the frame until very late on. But as you can see, Celtic have the overload. Celtic have the advantage. It's 4 against 3, 4 against 2 if you don't count Sakala, because he's not in the box. He's not a danger. He's the guy who has the ball. And he gets the ball to about here. Now, I'll show you this on the screenshots. It's much more obvious on video than it is on this. But all Starfelt has to do is stand up in this situation, because Sakala has 3 options. He has the option of playing the ball across the box, which I think that's what Starfelt thought he was going to do. He has the option of trying to cut it back to Kilman at the edge of the box, or he has the option to turn back and restart the play. That's the 3 options that he has. Either way, if Starfelt stands up, if he holds his position, Celtic have too many bodies in the way for him to get a good cross across the box to pick out a Rangers player. It would have to be an absolutely worldly of a pass from Sakala to pick out Kilman at the edge of the box, who was covered by Cal McGregor, or to pick Alfredo Morelos out, who was covered by Cameron Carter-Vickers. It would have had to be a miracle pass for him to do that. All Starfelt has to do is stand up. He doesn't do that. He engages him, and whatever your opinions are of the penalty decision, he shouldn't jump in the manner that he does. Now, I understand why he did it, but a better defender stands up in that position. If you're talking about the 2 Celtic defenders, for example, if it's Cameron Carter-Vickers in this position as opposed to Starfelt, I think that Cameron Carter-Vickers stands up. That's not me trying to have a go at Starfelt. That's just my opinion on this goal. And I'll show you to you on the screenshots now. This is the starting position. So this is where Sakala picks up the ball. As you can see, Starfelt here, Cal McGregor here, Johnston here, and Cameron Carter-Vickers is here. That's number 1. Here's Kilman making his run. Number 2. This is an absolute overload for Celtic here. As you can see, Maeda is back, as is Matt O'Reilly. This is where Juranovic engages and misses, and Sakala burns him down the right-hand flank. Morelos is here. This is Cameron Carter-Vickers. This is what I'm talking about, him being behind the defensive line. And then screenshot number 3, where Starfelt engages. I was very kind to Starfelt and his defensive actions when I was doing it on the tactical board, because as you can see, Juranovic is here, Maeda is here, Cal McGregor is here, Cameron Carter-Vickers is here, Matt O'Reilly is here, Johnston is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in the box defending against 1, 2, 3. He does not need to engage in this challenge. He doesn't need to do it. Stand up and you will either win the ball, make a block, or force him back to play back to James Tavernier, who is arriving very, very late. Very easy decision to make, but when you put pressure on players, that's when you get mistakes. That's when you get mistakes from Karl Starfelt, and that's when he made the mistake of diving in. And again, whatever your views are on whether or not it was a penalty or not, he should not engage in this challenge. He should be standing up, holding his ground, and forcing Sakala to try and make a move. So that is goal number 2, which puts Rangers in the driving seat for this game. So that's the breakdown of the 2 Rangers goals in the Derby match yesterday. Again, I'm not trying to be too harsh on any players here. I'm just giving my view on where I think Celtic should have done better or could have done better for the 2 goals. At the end of the day, Celtic are still 9 points ahead at the top of the table. Again, I'm more positive coming out of that and coming out of the rewatch of the game than I was initially after the match. So it's positive. Celtic continue on. They're in a driving seat now for the title after Christmas, after getting that Derby match done and dusted. And I think Celtic are going to win the league this year. That's my opinion. That's my breakdown on the goals. What did you think of the goals? What did you think of the game in general? If you haven't let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, do subscribe to the channel as well. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll chat to you later. Good luck.